This is Tuesday. Holy smokes, September 10th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. 2024 meeting of the Town of Berlin Planning Board. As a preliminary matter, please note this meeting is being recorded and some of the attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that folks be able to see you. Take care not to screen share your computer or anything else that you don't want broadcast or to be captured by the recording. Permit me to confirm that all members of the planning board are present and can hear me prior to me calling the meeting to order. When I say your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jay,
Aye.
Tim Wheeler,
Aye.
and Tom Sanford, aye. With a quorum of the board present, I call this meeting to order at 7:44 PM Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. This is an open meeting in the planning board being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. Specific information and general guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Berlin website. The open meeting law requires all meetings to have a publicly accessible physical location. Furthermore, all members of the public and bodies are allowed to encourage to participate remotely. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After their concluding remarks, I'll invite the board members by name to provide any comments, questions, motions, and penetrating insights. Please hold your insights until your name is called. Remember to mute your telephone or speaker, computer speaker when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps us generate accurate minutes of the meeting. For any response, please wait until you yielded the floor. State your name before speaking. If board members wish to engage in conversation with one another, please do so through me to keep the crosstalk at a minimum. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Thank you all for your cooperation. Excellent. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes of our last meeting?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Excellent. I will ask you to vote to accept the minutes of the meeting from our last meeting. Tim Wheeler?
Aye.
Jay Teach?
Aye.
Tom Sanford, aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Do we have any bills that we need to pay?
Did you see the 47 pages of documentation I sent you with multiple colors and everything?
I did. I
don't think there are any bills in there. I think there was a bunch of stuff you were supposed to do back in June.
There was stuff I was supposed to do in June. There was stuff I was supposed to do in September. There was stuff I was supposed to do in August. Basically, all it is verifying our accounts, making sure that we haven't misallocated any money. And then she's got, I think 3 or 4 special articles that she wants to scoop the money if we don't say that we want it. 2 or 3 of them master planning money. One of them is for we didn't spend any money out of the account for, at least she didn't put anything against the account for the consortium. We had $8,500 in the consortium money last year.
I thought we kept voting to pay that.
We did, but I don't know where she took the money from.
Huh.
We supposed to send her something?
Well,
when
we fill out the warrant.
I fill out a form.
Yeah, we're supposed to
So
tell.
what did we do? Did we have an article that was specific to that?
By the look of it, there was a special article. From what her accounting says to me, it was a special article for $8,500, but nothing was pulled from it.
Yeah, I forgot that we even had a special article. We had a special article. Was it a line item in the?
It must have been a line item because I don't remember voting on something specific.
No, I don't either. So, okay, so I'll just have to remember that and have her draw from that next year.
Well, when we to pay a bill, etc., how does that get back to whoever pays the bills? the
So
payables.
you fill out a warrant and you basically say what it's for.
Yeah,
And then if you know what account it's gonna come out of, like if it's a special article that we're spending money on, or if it's for the consortium, or if it's from our general fund, you write the account number at the top.
Right.
That way she knows where to take it out of. And then the chair has to sign it, and you need 2 other signatures usually. And then if you're supposed to initial the bills, but we haven't been doing that lately. You're supposed to.
all done by the planning board accountant. Because I haven't been doing it.
What?
Well, I mean, if it's the consortium stuff, usually it comes to me and I,
The
Take-
last couple of times, Tim has volunteered to take stuff uptown to talk to
yeah,
her.
and like newspaper bills,
Mhm.
we've been getting signatures on those and then taking them in.
Right.
Now I know who the planning board accountant is.
Yeah.
It's an ad hoc position.
If I send him the 47 pages of multicolored documents by
Tim,
email,
he'll just tear his hair out.
can I actually read them?
Did I read them? Yeah.
Or do you think that if I send it to Tim?
No, Tim won't read them. No, don't even think about it.
So there's 3 that we should preserve. There's 3 special articles for master planning, and we're gonna need that
Yeah.
for this year, so.
Yep.
They were at $5,000 a whack for the last couple of years, so we should preserve those. So
Tim's gonna
I'll
take
sign
it.
them and get them into her hands.
Okay. I'm just proud that I was able to find the FedEx box with the Mylar.
That's amazing. So somebody just shoved it in the records room?
Came to us in August of 22. Then went away, then came back in like April of 23, and we said, yeah, just make a few minor changes to the drawing. And then she came back in September. I don't know, like 6 months went by 2 or 3 times between each interaction. So we voted to accept the revised Mylar after more than a year. And then I went around and got signatures on it and left it, I think, with Eloise. Or left it, maybe I left it on the top of the mailbox, which is where kind of we usually leave them. But nobody picked it up. So somebody stuck it in the back of the records room. I just happened to notice it there.
Oh,
Problem solved.
yeah. So what should we do with stuff that's going back to proponents that have come before us? Leave
You
them
know,
copies.
Dee, I gave it to Dee. She's there every day except Friday. Whereas Eloise is only there for a couple hours twice a week.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
she'll be willing, and then she's got a little waiting room in her office too. So maybe if we can find a spot for them there. Her office door.
Milk crate with a couple of PVC pipes. Just
Got it. Yep.
and put it in the corner.
And I thought for some reason when I first started on the planning board that Eloise was actually recording these things at the registry. Is that not true?
I
Never?
don't think she does it.
Huh, I thought
Because
she,
usually the proponent or if the proponent passes it off to the land, the surveyor, they'll run up and do it. To record it.
I don't know why I thought that, but. So
May
anyway,
have been, so put it in her records for on our behalf. Or collecting any payments that people might be making to pass them on to us.
I don't know. So let's see what's on the list for tonight here. Oh, we have a Benderson sign request that's kind of important because they're trying to put up the sign. I sent that to you guys, right?
I didn't see a sign,
You didn't.
not in the stuff that was
No,
coming.
I sent it to you a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Thing. When I got it from him, let me see if I can find it. I'll send it again.
I haven't seen it. Did they do the table?
Yeah. They supply the information from all the signs in the whole project.
Usually they do.
Yeah, and then they included the new one.
And did it meet the did
Yeah, I felt it did.
Thomas says he tried to sign in and couldn't.
I only got 3 of us.
Oh, here's James Baglioli. Let me forward this to you, Thomas. Tom. Maybe I can call him up and share my screen. How about that?
That's fine.
Not that one. Not that one. There's a lot of attachments here, but they're all nothing. That's weird. Go back further. Attachment doc text, that's not it. Oh, download attachments. We already did that.
I still don't see Thomas trying to get in.
I just responded to his email. Do you have his cell phone number?
Well, I might.
Oh, here it is.
I do.
All right, I got it. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of tables. Wow, lots of them. Oh, there's a sign. Okay, site plan. See a site plan?
Yep.
Oh, there it is. It's going in over by Muya.
X golf. Are they putting a sign on the back of the building by any chance?
Yes, right
Yeah.
there. See it?
Somebody had said that when the tree cover comes down, the BJ sign is visible through onto Gates Pond
It's
Road.
fun. Yeah,
Yep.
Is that illuminated?
It's illuminated, yes, and that's not supposed to happen.
right.
Well, this one, there's the hills behind it there. I don't think there's any way for it to be seen. Faces kind of northwest, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose you probably can make an argument you couldn't see it, and I don't know how much, see, there's that big, from the back of that, there's that big, dip with a detention pond at the base of it. So I don't know if you're in the backyard of somebody's neighbor, and the backyard of somebody on Gates Pond, whether you could look through and see that. It doesn't look like it's illuminated, but we can't tell from this.
Yeah, because I think it faces the hill that BJ's is on.
It
Yeah.
does.
At the
But
BJ's.
you'd be, if you were sitting in your backyard and you were on Gates Pond as it comes around the corner. Now, I know there's probably a good distance there.
Let's see
You
what,
might not be able to see it through the canopy of trees, but it's just somebody mentioned this to me a bit ago. I forget how long ago. Yeah, see the detention pond, you got where the Mooyah
it's
burgers
over
are?
here, right, it's over here, right?
So
Yeah.
somebody could look through and
Oh, yeah, look at that.
theoretically.
Yeah,
But if you scroll down a little bit, you grab your map and pull it down a little bit. I don't know, you can, yeah, yeah. So the back side of BJ's right there. That back corner, because you get that big, so the back corner,
here.
nope,
Yeah,
yeah, right where your mouse is. So
you
the
can see
one
where
that's
the sign
facing
projects.
Pat, yep, where you can
Yeah.
see where the parking lot is. They have one there, that's right. Is it there or they didn't have one facing the parking lot too, I think?
Maybe both.
So maybe if your house was like right over here and
Actually, not even. If
It's
your
fine.
house is down where they built the new one,
do one.
they built a new one that's up on the hill. It was Wright's old.
Here?
No, it's down the street.
Oh, that's the one that we approved a
Yes.
while ago.
Wright's. Yep.
Yeah, maybe they could see that sign, right? Because there's no tree cover.
I believe when the
It's,
tree cover comes down, there's enough visible that you can see it at night.
uh, Wonder why they have one on the back of the building like that.
Oh, so you can see it from 62.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well,
Anyways,
this one would be, oops, out there,
yep, it's right where Mooyah is. Yep.
right there.
Yep.
There's a lot of trees in between.
Yeah, there are. And I'm just
You might see
asking
it.
a question. I don't know.
Yeah.
the answer.
These, I guess these houses might see it, right?
If it's illuminated, yeah.
Hmm.
Do we stipulate that the lights have to go off when they close? Is that what we did?
There is a stipulation that, and I don't know if it's when they close or whether it's a time.
Yeah, like an hour after they close or
I
something?
think that there was a time.
I mean, our goal was to make sure that if there was bleed, it was not gonna bleed all night long, right?
Correct.
Hmm.
Is that a regional shopping center overlay district? Or was that the mall?
That's
Uh,
regional shopping center overlay is the mall.
this one's the highway, right?
Yeah, highway.
Highway shopping.
I don't see that in here.
In there, it definitely is. And there is a specific section on lighting.
Well, in the overlay district, it says 9 AM and 1 hour after closing. 1/2 hour after closing. But that's in the Solomon Pond Mall, not at the Highland Common, right?
It should be similar.
Yeah.
Highway shopping center overlay district. Special noise, wall signs. Yeah, signs for establishments shall not be illuminated during the period commencing 1/2 hour after closing of the establishment and continuing to 1/2 hour before the opening. So that's for highway. And then any sign that is located within 200 feet of any part of the boundary of the highway shopping center overlay district that adjoins a residential district in Berlin shall be oriented, screened, or buffered to minimize visibility from said residential district. All such signs shall be reviewed for consistency with these objectives during the site plan approval process. So we just need to take a run down there as the leaves fall off and see what's going on. And tell the sign enforcing officer that we're concerned about something if we are.
That's interesting. We've got some of the LED sign type of provisions in this. I never even saw this before.
Yeah, we've state of the art.
Really? Yeah. Backlighting internally or with shielded external light sources. Huh, that's way more permissive than what's in the standard bylaw. Animation, flashing, holographic. It's a good thing that Carolyn's not with us tonight. Well, I think the issue is they are ready to put their sign up and we haven't been having meetings, so they probably should have sent someone here, but
Yeah, I move that we approve the sign as presented, with the notion that we will take an opportunity during the winter months to review this sign for compliance with some of these other regulations, which we can't determine from this,
yep.
and as well as other signs on the property. But
Can do.
Well,
Second,
what's the okay. What's the what's the rest of that thought that they put it up and we review it? Are we suggesting that we could require additional screening or something like that?
well, it certainly implies in the bylaw that, I mean, this is a site plan approval process that we're involved with right now in a sense.
Yeah.
And it says that all such signs shall be reviewed for consistency with these objectives during site plan approval, but we cannot make a full determination until the leaves go off. So that's why I included that extra little caveat, I guess.
But if we're voting that we approve and saying we can't approve until the leaves are down,
No, I'm saying we'll review when the leaves are down to make sure it does comply. I don't think we can determine whether it complies without it being lit. And with the leaves off. I'm just saying, we'll approve it, they can put it up, and then we'll evaluate it. And get back to them and say, hey, by the way.
By the
So,
way, what?
Thomas, the part that you missed is there was a, the BJ sign is on the back corner that faces, Gates Pond Road. There's
Mhm.
two. There's one on the side that faces the back part of where it used to be the old office building that's now vacant. And then there's another one that's on the side that faces their small parking lot. And when the tree cover comes down and it's illuminated, it can be seen at Gates Pond, on Gates Pond Road. And so we were wondering whether this one, A, is illuminated on the back side, because there's two signs that are going in. One is going to be on the side that faces the parking lot of Cabela's, which is their primary sign. But they also have a sign on the back side of the building, which you'd be able to see as you're coming down slope from BJ's to the rotary, that first rotary that's in there.
Mhm, mhm.
And that would definitely be seen by some Gates Pond residents if the tree cover comes down enough.
So why don't we approve the one that faces Cabela's and say that we don't have adequate information to approve the backside
And
sign?
split it into two? We
That,
could do
that
that.
would, I think that would be preferable, to my mind anyway.
We have unfortunately allowed some precedences in some of the other stores. Some of them we're probably okay with, like Michael's we're probably okay with. The other couple at still, Top Nail and the, Jersey Mike's. But they're smaller relative in size. If you arrow, up, Jay,
Yep.
so we can see that a little bit. Or arrow down.
Oh, what am I supposed to do?
Can you just pull the plan down? Yeah, okay, a little bit more. Yeah, so you can see where X Golf is, Thomas. And then to the left, right of that is the Jersey Mike's Top Nail or Top Coat, and then Mooyah. Those are on the back side that face the road that comes down off of BJ's Hill there.
Are they illuminated?
I don't remember, truthfully.
Okay. Because that makes a huge difference in
Oh,
terms
yes.
of what we're talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know. I mean, I think one consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. So this is a different sign, and we don't know whether the other ones are illuminated at this point. So, personally, I'd be willing to vote for approving the sign that faces Cabela's and to defer the other until the leaves are off and or we have further information as to its visibility from the residential district.
okay. Tim, would you like to amend your motion?
Oh, yeah, no, that'd be fine.
Okay. And can we have a second on it, or do we?
I'll second that since I suggested it.
Excellent. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah.
Seeing none, I'll ask you to vote. Timothy Wheeler,
Aye.
Jay Teach,
Aye.
Thomas Andrew,
Aye.
and Tom Sanford, aye. Motion carries to approve the one that faces the Cabela's parking lot. So basically this main 24 by, I can't read that, 8'8.5". They've done the dimensional standards and it meets their, the size requirements, because they're only allowed X amount of square feet versus the percentage of coverage of the facade.
How, now that I voted for this, I'm thinking about their, the process that they go through. How would we feel about allowing them to put up the rear sign but not illuminating it?
That might be better because they probably already bought it.
They probably already bought it and they'll install it as one felt swoop probably too.
I'm okay with that. I mean, we've sort of let the cat out of the bag already with the other signs that are next to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what we may do is go back and tell all these guys they've got to
You
turn
can't
off.
illuminate it.
They can't illuminate them because they're not complying unless they can figure out some other way to comply. But that way they'd have the visible sign during the day
Right.
and they just can't.
I
light
think
it.
we're negotiating against ourselves. I think we should approve one sign. And if they bitch about that, then we can think about something else.
But if it's not illuminated, doesn't it comply?
It would.
I mean,
Okay.
if I were there,
Okay.
I'd just say, I'm not, I'm in compliance. What are you doing to me?
Like I said, wait for them to say that, but if I'd be willing to go along with that.
I kind of like that idea, because I agree with Jay. It's probably been bought at the same time and it's probably already been scheduled to be installed at the same time.
Yeah, so I'd modify my motion to just include the fact that it can't be illuminated until we until a date to be determined by the foliage.
And I would reaffirm my second in light of that amendment.
Okay, so we have a motion on an amended proposal and a second. Is there any further discussion for it? Seeing none, I'll ask you to vote, and this is to re-examine the addition of the sign in the back, as long as it's not illuminated. Timothy Wheeler,
Aye.
Jay Teach,
Aye.
Thomas Andrew,
Aye.
and Tom Sanford, aye. Motion carries unanimous. Okay, usually at this point, what we'll do is we just jot a note to the building inspector that we've approved their sign, because I'm sure they've already put the application with him.
Okay. That's good. Where was it? Oh, we had a question from someone about, I don't know if I sent it around. A broker was asking whether someone who might purchase
Hmm.
one
A
of
house on Pollard Road,
houses, yeah, on, yep,
how many, whether they could build a riding ring and have horses and,
yeah. And it's RA, so the only thing they can't do is have a business, right?
yeah, I mean, it's an agricultural use in an agricultural zone. It's,
Right.
as long as they don't store up.
But
Sure.
then the following question, gee, I got another email saying, well, what if they want to have a commercial business, a riding equestrian center or something? Does that require?
We've got riding facilities and stables
Oh,
all
they
over town in the residential agricultural zone, so,
oh,
yeah.
that's right. I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
an
some-
agricultural use, basically, right?
Yeah.
Some good friends of ours, quite close to this issue are amongst us tonight, so.
I was thinking, Tim, the other day that the number of fields in our town is declining.
Because they're not being hayed,
Yeah. Right? These people would actually be cutting trees down and they may discover that there's a phenomenal amount of ledge down there.
so a riding stable in the residential agricultural zone is allowed by site plan approval.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, riding stable in the residential agricultural zone requires site plan review. It's not allowed in the multifamily dwelling zone, oddly enough. Actually, in every zone that it's allowed in, it is site plan review is required.
I'll tell her that.
A riding stable. Did we define it? Probably not. PQR. Riding. Oh, the commercial housing of 3 or more horses by means of rental of stalls and or stables and or the use of the property for the purposes of horseback riding lessons, horse training, and similar uses. It shall include any stable where horses are kept to for hire to the general public and shall include but not be limited to guided and unguided riding or carriage driving. So imagine that we have a provision So if they get carried away beyond 3 horses, then they've got to get site plan review. But it's a use that's allowed, doesn't need a special permit. It just needs to make sure it complies with some issues and gives the abutters a chance to comment where the manure pile is going to be and stuff. Come here, you bastard. God. Where did this mosquito come from?
Not as, the 2 ponies count towards as 1 horse for that. Three.
Nice try. What do we got? 6
Only
indoor?
if they're
rings?
Siamese ponies.
Yeah, Siamese. What have we got? 6 indoor rings now?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
5. Yeah, at least 5.
We got 2 on the hill with you.
Oh, right, we had 6, yeah, because Clover Hill, Highland Hill,
You ought to
Tamara.
get out more. That neighbor across the street there has built a ring.
Two of our borders went over there.
Yeah, so Highland, Randall, Ball Hill, 2 on Highland, and you
Cool.
2. So there's 6. Yeah, there's 6 indoor rings right now.
That's probably got the most in any town in Massachusetts.
It's a hell of a lot, and it of course has meant that, like you were just talking, there's a lot of open space that, there's fields that are remaining open as a result of that, which is good.
But a lot of the other ones are going away. Like I was looking at the satellite picture of the one where the solar array is on Randall Road.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be half open space conservation land and half solar, but it's like 80% solar. Was it half and half, or is that my imagination?
It was 50 acres, and I think they did 23 in
20,
solar,
yeah,
and they
20
put a
some odd.
CR on 23.
Yeah.
So a lot of the 23 must be forest, not fields.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't. I mean, the part that became solar was wooded.
Oh, it was, okay.
So actually, the fields out front remained fields.
So it could have been half the fields. It's just they chopped a lot of trees down. Yep. That answers that question. The only other thing I had proposed on the agenda was, I know you all attended the 3 o'clock workshop on ADUs.
2 o'clock.
It was 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, I had
That's,
a calendar at
that's
3
why
o'clock.
I didn't see you there.
Yeah, I would have been there because I thought I had it in 3 o'clock when I had another meeting.
No, was it 2?
What you want to tell us what you learned?
Sure. Lynn Ryan was there too, actually. And it was good. The guy was knowledgeable to a point. He was from CHAPA, the Citizens Housing and Planning, whatever. And then the Metro West 495 Collaborative. There was a rep from there, and Central Mass hosted it, but the charge was led by the gentleman from CHAPA. And he's gonna, the slides are gonna be available, so I'll send those around. It broke out the way in which the 5 billion is distributed, the earmarks. And he made it clear that, just because we've got a $5 million bond bill doesn't mean 5 million is going to be spent. It's like you have a ceiling on your credit card, but that doesn't mean you spend it all. So the same is true of this, he said. So, it may be 4 million, it may be 4.5. It depends on the projects that come forward. Some of the creation of commissions, some had to do with other types of housing initiatives, and then tucked in it is this ADU language, which interests us more than some of the other stuff. I mean, there's support for some of the MBTA communities, you know, that are trying to adjust to the requirement that they supply all this extra housing. There was a mention of workforce housing. It was a limited amount of money. They've given it a new title, medium middle income housing or something like that. But I thought that might be something for us to investigate further, because there may be some funding that would that we could get the commission to help us, go after. I specifically asked whether, because Trish Settles from the commission asked some questions about, septic and all this sort of stuff, and the guy initial response was, well, that's not going to limit too much. And then I said, what in those situations where a town is reliant entirely on private wells and septic, wouldn't the limits of the septic system determine the number of bedrooms, and as a result, any accessory dwelling unit would have to fit into the number that are already, provided for? And they said, yeah. So I think in our case, someone who probably has built a septic system to accommodate the number of bedrooms that are in their home, they may be unlikely to want to open up the can of worms of, the system may be old, so if they try to make it comply, they may have to rebuild the whole damn thing.
Right.
And they may not want to uncover that in the eyes of the law, because suddenly people say, oh, by the way, your system is not compliant anyway, so, let's talk. And just the expense of expanding a system to add a bedroom or two, there may be situations where that happens, but I can't see it happening a hell of a lot.
Well, Bill Brookings was saying that when somebody's already got an ADU and someone complains and he gets involved, typically they just deed restrict the main house down to one less.
Yeah. And the question was asked about that specifically, but I can't recall that there was a very good answer other than, well, if they restrict the number of units in the house, then, but how do there's no way to check if people are in compliance in regard to that. I would never follow up. We'd never be allowed to. So.
I was looking at the layouts of some of the apartments at the Rockwell, because you limited them to two, right? And there'll be an unnamed room, which I guess is supposed to be an office, directly across from the hall from the bathroom and across the hall from a walk-in closet.
Huh.
So I don't know.
So there's 180 days before it goes into effect, which still means there's probably 120 or whatever. Their advice was, hold your horses, relax. There'll be further information supplied by whatever it is, the Department of Housing and whatever, communities or whatever. And the commission is going to continue to focus on this. And now we haven't heard if we've got that grant. I should get in touch with Jane and say, hey, have we heard yet? Because I would have thought news would have come out pretty soon. So I'll check on that. But, since we're working on a review of the bylaw through the diagnostic and then potentially a rewrite, and the commission's working on ADU sample language, it seems like those pieces will all come together for us later in the fall, and that to expend a lot of energy on the issue right now would be counterproductive.
Well, the question I have, which you might listen for when you're hearing a discussion about it, is what happens if you've got a non-conforming lot?
Yeah.
You can get the setbacks and everything else that you require for the new ADU, but you're at, an acre instead of 2.
Okay.
Are we going to be required, not allowed? What are the recommendations going to be on that?
Yeah, I actually looked at that, and the way I looked at it, that state law would require you that if you could meet setbacks, and obviously there's the public health issues, that your bylaw couldn't prohibit this to non-conforming lots. If it was a lot, it was a lot, and if you can meet the setbacks and you can provide water and septic, that I did take a look at it, and that's the way it looked to me, but I'm sure there's more guidance coming.
Says something about dimensional. It says that our dimensional requirements in our bylaw would be respected. So is the 2 acres a dimensional requirement by that?
The way, and I did look at that, the way I read it, it was not that, it was the dimensional requirements to the lot lines, etc.
Yeah.
If it was a lot, it was a lot, but it is it is a slightly dodgy point, I agree.
I'll
Right.
pay attention to that. I can raise that the next time I chat with people.
It would be
That's-
interesting, because if you look at it, and if you wanted to put an addition on your house and you had a lot that was, say, 1 acre and a third, that was an approved lot, it was fine and everything else, you wouldn't be, handcuffed by not being able to put that addition onto your lot, as long as you meet your setbacks and everything
Oh,
else.
Yeah.
don't you need a variance to do that, though? I think you do.
If
No.
you meet dimensional standards and stuff, no. You
No.
go to the building department and apply for a building permit.
Yep.
Because you're making it more non-conforming than it was by adding more.
It was
No,
conforming.
the
to begin with.
non-conforming is the size of the lot,
Right.
not what's put on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the fact that these ADUs don't necessarily have to be detached, they can be attached. I think what Tom's suggesting is that in that case, the ADU would flow through without much problem.
Mhm.
Because I think you're
And
right.
if you had a garage or whatever that
Yep.
met dimensional and setback requirements and you wanted to confirm it,
Yep.
to convert it rather, that also seemed possible to me as I looked at. Now, I didn't have the advantage of attending the session, but I did look at the FAQs and so on that had been put out in preparation for this meeting, so.
Yeah, I've read everything I can about it, and that issue has not been specifically called out. And I think it's important because I think that the more likely, we're not gonna get a lot of these if it's consistent with California and New Hampshire. It's gonna be a fraction of a percent. And it seems likely to me that rental single families are gonna be more likely to get, the owners are more likely to want to put an ADU on that they can rent.
Mhm.
So more often probably non-conforming lots because they have to be relatively inexpensive homes
Mhm.
to make the economics work. So
Yep. But again, I mean, obviously you have to meet the public health issues with respect to that.
Yeah.
And you would have to meet offset to lot lines and so on.
right.
So I thought it actually sort of was dealt with because it wasn't part of the law that you had to have a lot that was currently consistent with sort of new development frontage and square footage requirements.
Okay.
So that, I mean, that's, again, I spent a couple of hours looking at this actually over Labor Day weekend because I had COVID and everybody else I knew was down on the vineyard at my house and I was in the plague house. So
COVID is just so passe.
you're absolutely right. It was like a bad summer cold with a fairly extreme level of fatigue, and that's all it was.
Yeah, my daughter got it too, same symptoms. And she
So,
got bit by a spider, and that was really bad.
Huh.
So watch out for those.
Oh, I didn't catch mine from a spider.
Those COVID spiders.
Yeah.
the unfortunate thing is that there's no provision for any of these units to be affordable.
Yeah,
There's-
that was a bummer.
I mean, that's where I think they missed the boat.
Yeah, big time.
You mean a mandate that they be affordable or an option that they be affordable?
Even
you
an
don't-
option, but
If you put it in an option, no one's gonna do it.
Yeah,
well, you
You know,
know,
it's funny because I was looking at our existing zoning bylaw, which does require, with the exception of some other things, that it be rented at an affordable rate.
Right.
And I wasn't sure that the state law had any point that directly superseded that, but that was one of the things that I wanted to spend a little more time to look at.
that'd be fun.
That would be interesting.
I mean, there may be nothing to it, but as I, you know, like had one document and the other in front of me, I was thinking, there isn't necessarily something on point in the state law that would supersede that, but we should keep that in mind.
Yeah.
so we have
And
to,
I'd rather like put that in there and say, take us to court and see what happens, you know?
Yeah, because you're right. We've, in our detached accessory apartment, that the use of any detached accessory apartment other than one existing on January 1st, 1990, and whose creation is consistent with section 524, 2, which is that the building inspector approves it, shall be limited to housing for a group of not more than 4 residents, at least one is related, housing for caregivers at least one resident, or as rental housing rented subject to conditions as may be required from time to time to qualify as a detached accessory apartment as a unit of affordable housing. I'd forgotten that caveat. So that's,
I
mean,
remembered it because I wrote it.
we had that language that allowed it before, in structures built before 90 when we first adopted it. But then we added this language that said, you know, if you build a new structure or a structure's been built since,
Yep.
and you got to do this. Yeah, it'll be interesting to play that out.
Yeah, as I say, I didn't spend a lot of time with it, but I was looking, you know, at one document and the other side by side. And I wasn't 100% sure that the state law necessarily negated all of that.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha.
gated the affordable part or the whole, all of the restrictions?
Particularly the affordable part. I think the other two, as I remember it, were problematical. In
Yeah,
other
that's,
words, to
that's
limit it to
eliminated.
the first two residential characteristics. Yeah,
Yeah,
but not the affordable. I didn't see a
Yeah.
point-on-point issue with respect to that.
because they have made it pretty clear that you can't restrict it to just family.
Right. No, absolutely. Yep.
They have said that you can only put one on a lot.
Yep.
But you can't put multiple ADUs on a lot. So that was, he talked about that today and said, I think he felt that was unfortunate. And I thought, well, not if you're living in a small rural community
Exactly.
with no water and sewage, you know, it's.
Well, you know, if you had a chicken coop, you could put up like 14.
Since our ADU bylaw has been in place for however many years that's been, has anybody built an affordable one?
Oh, no one's
No.
hardly built an accessory dwelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They-
have. Well,
They've
created-
converted
They
older
converted, yeah,
buildings existing prior to 1990.
right.
But there haven't been too many instances where I think people have come in and said they wanted to take a newer structure and convert it.
Peter Hoffman
Yep.
did. That's why I
Huh?
ran the select board. Remember when Peter Hoffman was trying to get the bylaw
Yeah,
changed?
I mean, that's
That's what he was trying to do, is he had a.
Yes, that's what he was trying to do. Something that was built after 1990. Yes,
Right. He made the conversion and then tried to get it to pass and it wouldn't.
exactly.
So then he tried to overturn the law.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one has done that and made it affordable because it's The
No.
economics probably don't really work.
No, and I remember I would talk to Peter Hoffman about just that issue, that if he wanted to limit it to an affordable rental unit, go for it, because it was consistent with the bylaw and he didn't want to have that restriction.
No, and the whole notion of being told that you had to put your unit into a lottery and accept whoever won the,
that's the
you know,
problem.
just, yeah, it's not
Mhm.
gonna fly.
Yeah. Yep, as I know, as I'm moving one of my unpleasant tenants out this week. Good tenants are hard to find.
I did also, as I looked at it, took a few notes on the changes we would have to make to that 500 section of the bylaw, but I agree with what people said today, that there's more guidance coming. I actually thought that if we didn't do it until annual town meeting and something happened in the meantime, that we'd be in kind of a questionable situation, but that the state law would supersede it anyway. And it did strike me as though we certainly wouldn't have to rush it, and we could do it at annual town meeting, because I think anybody attempting to do it in that kind of fluid situation would be willing to wait,
Hmm.
until annual town meeting. That was the other thought I had on it.
And today, when they were talking, they said that their suggestion was for people not to panic and try to push stuff through to, go to
Yeah.
your annual and listen to some of the guidance that you get out of the state.
Yeah,
over
I
the next couple months.
totally agree with that. And as it progresses, I'd be willing to wield the pen the way I did on the sign bylaw amendments last year. So happy to do that, unless somebody else desperately
No.
wants to.
Great, good.
We're all busy. Tom's the chairman, I'm the clerk, and Tim is the accounting manager.
Yeah, no. So that's why, I was fully aware of that, which is why I was willing to, wield the pen on the amendment stuff. Absolutely.
Speaking of wielding a pen, I need to get your signature sometime on the Registry of Deeds document, so we can send that in and
You talking to me, Tim?
yeah, they'll accept that stuff. So
You around tomorrow? Because I need to go out and get some corn tomorrow. So
sure, yeah, I'll be around.
okay, excellent.
I'll pull it out and make sure I've got it in hand.
All right, and I'll let me look at a schedule when I get off the call. I do have to drop off at 9 o'clock, because I am one of the citizens who is broadcasting into the chip that has been inserted in Kamala to give her off-the-cuff answers to what Donald Trump may be saying during the debate. So
Great.
The only thing we have left I can see on the agenda is etc.
Now, at the stand this afternoon was a plan. Let me go get it.
I had a new email. Someone wants to know what we have in file about the 58 South Street development. Is that Mark's development next to the school?
Might be, that's a 40B development. I don't, yeah, I'm not familiar enough with the addresses on South Street to be sure about that, but
Yep, it's called Wilson Road.
okay.
Looking to find the public documents associated with that development.
That would be the ZBA.
Is that right? Okay,
Yep.
look to the ZBA. Oh, I know what we were supposed to talk about is the FEMA floodplain issue. Whether we adopted the bylaw. Floodplain.
I took a quick look at that. Why don't we defer that to to next meeting, and I
Okay.
can provide a report on that.
Because I thought I saw a floodplain bylaw in our bylaw.
We do, and I hadn't had a chance to look at what their suggestion is versus what we have.
Okay,
But I would be willing to take on presenting a written outline and then leading the discussion on that at our next meeting.
So did
Good.
she say she would be willing to help us address any modifications we needed to make in our floodplain section?
I think she did. She sent us a model floodplain bylaw.
I mean, perhaps
she?
maybe Thomas wants to reach out to her and just say,
Yeah,
what is it that you think you've got that we need?
and they're having online training on September 26th.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw that. I tried to click the link and for some reason it wouldn't connect. But let me Tim, can you send me the contact on that, because I can ask her and then
Right.
see that I can get connected.
I sent it to you with the minute,
Yeah, yeah, that's where I clicked on it, and for some reason I didn't get through to the scheduling or registration. It just
you must be blackballed because I just did it. I got it. I'm gonna send it to you.
interesting. I just got the
You got to hold your control.
little blue circle of doom going on instead of connecting. So
Really
yeah, well, send it to me again. I'll try it again.
coming right now. You got to hold
All
control when you click on it, right?
Hmm?
You have to hold the control key down when you click on it. If you're at least you're an Outlook.
Yeah, dude, I live in the 21st century. I know that. Yeah.
Oh, you know that. I thought that was a secret.
Yeah, and it still just didn't connect. But send it to me again. I will try it, and then if Tim, if you send me her contact, if that doesn't work, I'll try to resolve it in talking with her. Okay.
I'm forwarding this to you now because all I've got is the stuff that Jay sent, which
Okay.
Yeah, just send again too. Also, I just found another one. The longer we talk, the more I find.
this is good.
A site plan approval for the warehouse built in 2018 at 290 Pleasant Street. I believe it was approved in 2016 and shows up in the list of decisions for that time frame.
Site plan?
For 290 Pleasant Street. Let's see where that is.
That'd be ZBA,
Yep.
Yay.
not us.
290, that's way down. Isn't that by where that guy wanted to put the,
290. Yeah.
Sounds like the irrigation It'd be on Pleasant?
Hang on a second here. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
put-
you're right. It probably is that. Yes.
The irrigation guy. But that, if he's after site plan approval records, he needs ZBA.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking, where could that be? But you're absolutely right. I'm sure that's the
Yeah,
place.
the post office is 260, so.
Yeah, makes good sense.
Did you get that? I just sent it over to you, Tom.
I haven't, I do this on my iPhone, but I will go and look at, well, hang on. I think I can look at that. Yep, just a minute. You send it to my email?
Yeah,
I don't see it yet, but if I don't, I'll get back to you.
Huh, doesn't come up with Google Maps. Wonder why
what
that-
does it?
Weird.
You didn't send it to my office address,
Yeah, well-
Thomas.Andrew at PBH,
No, I sent it to,
Meliorist?
yeah,
Okay, it hasn't shown up yet, but I'm sure the last one I have is the email that said to try again because you guys were on, so.
so she says, all that being said, I took a quick glance at Berlin's floodplain regulations, and it appears the town will need to update its floodplain bylaws to meet the minimum requirements in the state model. Our office will be providing a review of the town's floodplain bylaws with the state model, and that will be provided to the community in the next few months. We are also holding an online training, so they plan to go forward with a review regardless of what we do.
Well, that's fine.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Yep. All right, I'm sure it'll show up, Tim.
Yeah, she says it doesn't appear the floodplain boundaries are changing with the new mapping, so.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Although it did seem like a small amount of it might be recharacterized, but not that the borders of it would change,
Yeah,
but that,
yeah.
yeah.
290 Pleasant Street is the irrigation guy.
All right. Oh, it just came through, Tim. Thank you.
Okay,
Or actually, I think it was, I think the first one that came through is what Jay sent because it's planning board, but I'm sure the other one will come through momentarily. Yes, they both came through now. Thanks.
Hope you have two monitors.
I do actually have 3 monitors here, but as I say, I was sitting in a comfortable chair doing this on my iPhone rather than on the hard chair I spend too much time during the day sitting on.
it seems like you've sent us a lot of stuff lately, Jay. Is this everything?
Yeah, I sent you a lot of stuff. You got the signed stuff. And let's just see what I said.
Floodplain, we've done that. Floodplain.
Yeah.
Huh.
Waller Road, counting. South Street A&R. Holmes request. I think we covered it all.
Nice job.
All righty. Well, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and it's non-discussable. So I'll ask you to vote. Timothy Wheeler,
all right.
Jay Teach,
Aye.
Thomas Andrew,
Aye.
Tom Sanford, aye. Motion carries unanimous to adjourn.